Hello and welcome to another Obscura Undead reviews. We took another unexpected hiatus. Oops. Well, actually it was mostly because I was on break. No, I'm not going to make a Friends joke, but I'm Azy.
And I'm Maus. I actually wouldn't have even gotten it if you made a Friends joke.
What?
I wouldn't have gotten it.
What?
Friends like the show?
Yes.
I wouldn't have gotten it if you made a joke.
That's okay. The only reason I get it is because my husband made me sit through all of it at one point. Anyway, we're here to review music this week, right? And we are reviewing a new release from, it's a debut band with veteran musicians called Sacred Legion. I'm not entirely sure where they're from. I'm gonna just assume Italy.
They do come from Italy. That was the only tidbit of information that I had. They come from Italy.
Okay, I was assuming Italy for reasons that I will explain as we get that far.
Okay.
But Sacred Legion released their debut album called The Silent Lineage on Batcave Productions on December 20th of 2020, so last year. And it's a number of tracks long. It's very short.
It's 8 tracks long, and in true death rock style, most of the songs are 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're pretty short.
There's one that's 3 minutes, and there's one that's 5 minutes, but, you know, on average, a good death rock song is 2.5 minutes, so... You know,
that's a hard and fast rule, guys.
That is a... You're not doing it right if it's not an average of 2.5.
I strongly disagree with that.
I know, I'm just joking. But it did catch me off guard that the first track was 5 minutes long.
I liked that it was so long. I felt like it did a lot. So just to give a little bit of, before we start diving into the tracks, just to give a little bit of background on the band. So this band formed at the end of September 2017, according to their Facebook, at the behest of FABIANO, formerly of Chants of Maldoror, who I'm assuming many of you have heard of. They're a great 2000s death rock band. And this is why I assume they were from Italy, is because Chants of Maldoror was from Italy. And that band's a band that's played like Vegete. All right, so it's FABIANO on guitar and lead vocals, MIRKO, formerly of Human Disease and Sex Chair Provider, who I don't know those bands.
That is an amazing band name.
Sex Chair Provider?
I'm gonna go look them up after this.
And so MIRKO on drums and Tony on bass and backing vocals, formerly of Idle Lips and the Delinquents. Again, bands I do not know.
And Tony is on bass and backing vocals.
Yes. And when I first listened to this album, I hadn't read their not Bandcamp, it's actually on Facebook, their Facebook biography. And I'm thinking, the guitars on this sound like 2000s death rock, like Chants of Maldoror. And then when I read that, I was like, oh shit.
That was spot on. So maybe FABIANO actually does a lot of the writing to ensure that the guitar work still sounds like it did in Chants of Maldoror.
I don't know if that's intentional or if that's just a tone that he is completely in love with. I don't know. It works. I'm not going to complain. Mm-hmm. But
and
talking...
Of course, they cite their inspirations from like Christian Death, Shadow Project, and, you know, right off the bat, vocals sound like Raw's vocals.
Yeah, like Shadow Project Raw's vocals, not like Christian Death Raw's vocals, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. So, first track of the album is Flower Phantoms. It's a little bit over 5 minutes long, and it has this long, just guitar intro that I really enjoyed. It was delicate, it was spooky, and then all of a sudden you get this like marching drum beat.
I love long guitar intros. It kind of reminds me of like when The Cure was first starting out, and you can just like live in that whole section of the song before the vocals and everything else starts. Mm-hmm. There's another track on this album that does that as well, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that was Black Sun Revival later.
Yes, Black Sun Ritual.
Or yeah, why did I say Revival? Ritual,
Whatever.
Black Sun Ritual. I even wrote it down in my notes wrong, and
Yeah.
that's painful.
Also has that wailing guitar, long intro. Love it.
Yeah. See, one of the terrible things about being in front of a computer is that I can look shit up while we're doing this. Oops. I didn't have the album pulled up previously. That's my bad.
That is the whole point of having a computer in front of you.
Yeah, but I didn't prepare. I'm garbage. I'm sorry. Anyway. But no, I really liked the like marching drums style, like snare, you know? And I really liked what was going on with the bass on this as well. Like it was a nice kind of slidey sounding bass. I don't know how else to describe it, but it goes like boom. It reminded me of Christian Death.
I like how you make the sounds of the instrument you're trying to describe. I love it.
Does it help?
Well, it helps because I've listened to it, but to somebody who hasn't listened to this album, I have no idea. No idea how that is.
Yeah, no.
The guitars sound like this: boing, 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 boing.
No, the guitars sound like chukka 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 chukka.
At least there aren't birds in the track, so okay. Yeah, and track 2. It goes to your 2-minute song.
Yeah, and this one we get like a really heavy distorted guitar.
And
nice.
I did enjoy that distorted guitar, and then I was thinking that around this part of the album that it sounded kind of grungy. Like it reminded me of like early 90s, not underdeveloped grunge, before it had gone full.
See, I thought it had more of a garage rock kind of vibe.
That's exactly the same sound I'm trying to describe. Exactly.
Okay.
So like gritty, dirty, underproduced, recorded in a garage. But still, it was the way that the songs are put together, they're at least simplified enough that it's not like wall of sound, it's not a mess.
No, they do a lot with a little. So even though there was a lot of, like distortion on the guitars, it wasn't overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. And I especially loved that with the track Purify. That's track 3. It's got that plucky guitar, and it just stuck me in that early 90s grunge vibe.
Yeah, because the distortion kind of pulled back a bit, but this is actually in my notes. I did write down chicka 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 for the guitars.
That's amazing. So there is some notes that they had recorded a 2-track demo in 2019. One of them was Purify, and that song later appeared on an international compilation called Sparkles in the Dark Volume 5. And that was before this album came out. Obviously, this album just came out, but that song was out there since 2019.
Yes, and then...
It's one of my favorites.
Purify is one of your favorites?
Yes.
I liked it. I liked I don't know what it was. I think it was a triangle. It was like a little ding, ding.
I think it could have been anything. It could have been anything. It could have been like a keyboard or a...
That's true. In my mind, I just wanted to think it was...
all the, I want to say chimes, and you go like this. More sound
Maybe, but chimes were on Black Sun Ritual.
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll get that far. Dig Me No Grave, I felt went in a little bit more of a punk direction.
Yes, and when you first go to their Bandcamp, that's the song that it leads in with. It has you start there with this track. So I guess this is the one that they figure is their mass market track.
I guess they figured everyone can go listen to Purify. I mean, honestly, if I would have picked which track to lead in with, I probably would have picked Black Sun Ritual. But
I would have picked Purify. Or I would have put Black Sun Ritual higher up on the album.
Yeah, but then there's track 5, A Taste of Turmoil, which I got a psychobilly vibe off of.
Oh yeah, I considered it punk rock energy. It's the most punky song on there.
Yeah,
but
so
I love that it's on there because it shows that they can handle that just as well as typical death rock, just as well as that garage grunge vibe. They have all of these sounds going on.
Mm-hmm. So up until this point, we're hearing just all of those influences that that they cite going on in the guitars and showing that they can do a lot, not just with guitar melodies and rhythm and plucked versus chords, but tone and genre as well. Like they play around a lot. So even though it still feels all like the same band, they do a lot with the guitars.
Yeah, and I wish they did more with the vocals. I do like the Roz vocals, but I would have liked to see like more effects and more different styles with that vocal. But it stayed relatively consistent throughout the album.
So something that's as dynamic as the guitars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a missed opportunity. So as they grow, perhaps they'll head in that direction. But
we'll see. And then Black Sun Ritual, which I think is one of my two most favorite tracks on the album.
It does have a lot happening.
I like the chimes. I like the chimes.
The chimes! And that, as described before, you've got your wailing guitar intro that's elongated, like it sounds like you're going to be on an epic journey before the song even starts. The song's like 3.5 minutes, but it feels like an epic journey.
Right, and with the guitar here, I feel like this is the track where you really feel a lot of their Christian death influence, because I really feel as though the guitar here is like Rick Agnew, Only Theater of Pain, very much like calling back on that.
Yeah, and to me, that was I was just going to say another one of my favorites on the album, so I don't really know what I'm saying now. But also another great track, and it was so distracting that when I tried to listen to the last two tracks, I just kept going back to Black Sun Ritual.
That's why I think it should have been the lead track. I mean, it's such a great track. It's also the second longest track on the album at 3.5 minutes.
And maybe it's fine. I think that, if you've got like several strong tracks, they don't all have to be in the beginning of the album.
No, and I feel like the tracks across the album were all strong tracks, so maybe they just had a hard time picking, like, okay, where do we put things? Track number 7, Hole in the Heart. I felt like this is the track where we get a lot of that dark rock vibe that they say that they're going for, straight out the gate. I felt like it was like very 2000s style, like heavy rock guitars.
Yeah, and at just 2 minutes, I would say it's too short, but it's not. It's just perfect length.
I honestly don't feel as though any of these tracks are too short or too long. They all feel exactly as long as they need to be.
Yeah, is it because the way that they write their music, it has a defined beginning, middle, and end?
Possibly.
Like, they don't do this thing where they just keep repeating the chorus all the time. It's actually, it's written as a complete song.
Possibly, but I think it definitely is part, like, they know exactly what they're doing compositionally, like, in terms of how the song is structured, but I feel it's also, they know when to take up space and they know when to make space in their songs, but like all of the songs have such a really great flow.
Grand songwriting, and it shows that every single person on this album who's contributing to the music, you can tell they came from other bands and that they have experience in writing music.
I mean, there are musicians who've been performing for like 40 years and they still can't write a decent track.
Ooh, you're not going to mention who that is.
Oh, I don't have any specific examples. I'm sure that I did.
Okay, I immediately thought of an example. I immediately thought of an example. Bands that have been around. Never mind. I'm just kidding.
And then the album closes out with Shards, which I admittedly like. I liked this track, but I kept going back to Black Sun Ritual.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like listening to Shards, and I'm like, the album's gonna end, but you know what? Let's go back to Black Sun Ritual.
Right. Does that make us bad reviewers? Because we're just like, I know I need to be reviewing this, but click.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of times you have to listen to an album a couple of different times, and sometimes you have to shake up the order because there are songs that get hidden under the shadow of a much better song.
That is absolutely true.
So when I listen to an album, I do listen to it from top to bottom a few times, and then I put it on shuffle, and then all of a sudden a song will glow because it's not, it's not hidden by track 6 or track.
I totally get where you're coming from, because I almost always listen to it top to bottom, and then I listen to it in that exact order unless I go back to something specifically. But
yeah, and
I don't pay attention to a track as much until I'm like looking for something to spin, and I'm like, I want to spin this band. It needs to be in like this range. This track fits. I don't remember liking it like as much as other tracks, and then you take it out of context and it shines.
And it's a great song.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there are any tracks like that on this album, but it's definitely an album worth listening to if you are looking for something goth rock, but maybe a little less 90s revival and a little bit more like 2000s and 80s.
Yes, for sure. Also, I want to take a minute to mention that if you go to their Bandcamp, the digital download is it's 20 euros. However, that's to encourage you to go to the website. There's a link for Batcave Productions website where the actual physical CD is 10 euros. So buy the CD and you get a download code.
Well, you don't get a download code. You have to reach out to the label to get the download code.
Okay.
So it is an extra step. But the reason for that, I believe, is because Batcave Productions does do a lot of CDs for the bands on their label. It's not just all digital releases, and this is to make it so that, they can keep producing, keep people buying the physical. And I know that oftentimes we don't want to pick up the physical because it does take up space. We're spoiled by immediate music from digital releases, but I ordered a CD, and I'm really excited for when it gets here to start digging through the liners. Like, that's something I find myself missing more and more lately, is what the hell is in the liners? What extra pictures and art is in the liners?
I'm actually really curious because there's not a lot of information online about this band. And there's nothing on the website, on Batcave's website regarding the band. So what is in the liner notes?
I'm curious as to that. Yeah.
I'm ordering it too. I'm ordering it right now.
Oh, I'm sure that'll make Tomas very happy when he's like, why the fuck do I have to ship 2 things to Tampa?
I know. It's like, what's going on in Tampa? Everybody's buying my stuff. Anyway, go support Tomas and Batcave Productions.
And support Sacred Legion.
They're actually a really fantastic label. You can buy the entire label discography. I think it's like 50 albums, 50 different bands, 50 different bands' albums that you can buy in one go if you'd like.
Or you can just go look at other stuff on their album, on their label. If you're just looking for things to hit, I would recommend Soma 101, Honda. Actually, those have been my Order of Night is another really great release from Batcave Productions.
Galore is on there. I see Order of Night. Oh my gosh, there's a whole bunch of fun stuff. The Gallows.
Psychoformalina, also great.
Really? There's some bands I need to check out, like Come and Seek. That's the name of the band. And then Dirty Squats and Disco Lights.
Oh, that's Totenwald. That is an amazing album.
Really? That sounds like a fun time.
Dirty Squats and Disco Lights. I spin shit off of that all the time. You might not like it. There's a lot of sax.
Oh.
But I still recommend listening to it. It's a great album.
It's Totenwald. Okay, I see. All right.
Anyway, we should wrap this up.
We should.
But you really should go dig through the discography, the record label discography for Batcave Productions. They have a lot of really great shit. And seriously, go check out Soma 101. It ended up on top 10 for last year, 1984. Oh, such a good album. Anyway, this is the part of the video where we like to thank you guys for watching. And if you are, long-time listener, first time, I don't fucking know, go subscribe and shit.
Subscribe, follow, leave a comment.
Yeah, comment.
We love comments.
Yeah, we like to read comments on the album reviews, but we don't get too many of them. Well, we don't get too many nice ones.
You can leave an unnice comment. I think those are amazing too.
Oh, I want to read you one of our most recent comments, and it's just this: beauty big tits.
Beauty big tits.
Beauty big tits.
This is how we know we've made the big time. Beauty big tits. Thank you for that.
I guess.
Opinion. Keep them coming.
Yeah. And of course, we want to thank our Patreon supporters because honestly, without you, we wouldn't be able to keep shit running for our Twitch streams, our podcasts, which we're going to be getting up on Spotify and iTunes soon, as soon as I get my shit together on that. Zine and comp. Oh, we put out a comp recently. Go look at that.
It's huge. There's like 48 songs on it. So go get it.
48 bands honored us and graced us with 48 tracks that were released in 2020. It is a Name Your Price album. So name your price. You can download it for free. You can give us $50. We don't care. But the most important thing is that you find someone you like and you go support that band. Yeah. All right. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Oh, we should tell you what we're reviewing next week.
What are we reviewing next week?
We are going to be reviewing Push Button Press's Black Swans.
Yay! Black Swan, just one.
Oh, Black Swan. Oh yeah, there's only one Black Swan.
One swan.
That's a sad swan.
I know, he's lonely.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
This is